Today is October 25th. Welcome on into Daily Cards Live here on ClaibsOnline.com. Rammer, we are just about 9 hours away from World Series Game 1 between the Dodgers and the Yankees out in Dodger Stadium. What's your excitement level for this series, Rammer?
I think it's about what it is for every series. I always call October the high holy day. So I think for me, same as always. Uh, I would say nothing over the top.
For me, there is added an elevated level of excitement for me.
Good.
Outside of whether the years the Cardinals have been in the World Series, I think that's more of a okay, are they going to win? That's when you put your fan hat on and you start to get nervous for your team, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I am just absolutely pure, it's excitement for the World Series because how often do you, in any sport, do you get this level of top athletes in their respective sports going against each other for the championship? I mean, this is a few years ago. I mean, we had Mahomes Brady. That's in the Super Bowl. You go to that level. You think back to some NBA matchups.
A lot of NBA, yeah.
Yeah, and this, I mean, this doesn't happen that often in baseball where you could say that Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani are 1A, 1B, 1-2, whatever you want to say with them. They are up there and everybody else is below them.
Yeah, having said that, it still is a team game. Judge has not had a great playoff yet. And so the variables and vagaries of the game of baseball end up with for instance, in the previous round, you end up with an afterthought guy who didn't play any games until the middle of August and ends up hitting cleanup for a team that is loaded with former MVPs. It's just baseball is a fun, awesome, crazy, wild game when it comes to tournament play.
Yeah, absolutely. And both these teams have had enough rest. Everybody should be ready to go in pitching matchups, bullpens, what have you. So we should get both teams' absolute best here in game 2.
Except that both first basemen are compromised. How much will that be a factor? Now, Rizzo hit really well in the previous round, despite those 2 broken fingers. In fact, I thought they took him out of the games too soon, but you don't know about pain and swelling and all those things in the moment. He's had a couple of more days. Freeman's got the really bad ankle. They have to take him out of games. So in some ways it balances like that, but I don't think either team would be at their best. You do talk about bullpens. There will be bullpen games, which just blows my mind that we got the 2 best teams in baseball and they can't line up a 4-man pitching rotation. It blows my mind, but that's what we have, and that will be part of the intrigue.
Yeah, we will get Garrett Cole against Jack Flaherty in game 1 tonight. Neat little side note to that. Both of these guys grew up as fans of as kids, fans of the respected teams that they're pitching for. So that's a pretty cool little footnote in that we've all seen Garrett Cole with the sign, the Yankees sign that he had at the parade, or it was at spring training, a game, whatever it was. And we, here in St. Louis, we all know of Jack Flaherty's affinity to the Dodgers and Southern California. So the fact that these two men are getting to suit up and play in a World Series and go back to, thinking of when they're kids, I think that's pretty cool to
absolutely
to look at and to see for the games tonight. Outside of that, the way the Dodgers kind of line this up, and you mentioned the bullpen games with this, I think kind of the way they're going about it is to not only, they're setting themselves up for the best possible scenario for, a 7-game series, but they're also protecting themselves in the long run. And I think when it came down to it and trying to figure out who to start in game 1 between Jack Flaherty and Yoshi Yamamoto and even Walker Buehler, who I think has been their best pitcher starting pitcher in the postseason. That's why I was surprised that they went with Buehler later on in the series. I think if you look at the strategy of it, going with Flaherty over Yamamoto keeps the Dodgers from possibly bringing Yamamoto back on short rest in Game 7, which they do not want to do.
No.
So I think in a way they said, you know what, you're going to go Game 2, you're going to go Game 6. That way, there is absolutely no way we are toy with the idea of pitching you on short rest in Game 7. You'll be done. It'll be over with, and that'll be your postseason.
What's interesting is if the Yankees win the first 2 at Dodger Stadium, does it alter what the Dodgers want to do with pitching being, behind the 8 ball a little bit? But otherwise, I think it makes sense. It looks like Game 3 would be their bullpen game, and I think they're going to do the best they can with it. So does that set you up for Buehler with a Game 4-7? A Game 4 start, a Game 7 start. Those are the things that I think sometimes where you stand in wins and losses may push you. The thing you don't want to do is get in a situation like that and panic.
Yeah.
And not stay the course. But if it's an elimination game, you say, well, you got to go for it. I agree. But do you set yourself up for an elimination game today and tomorrow and the next day? You got to be careful to, yes, play the odds, but no, don't go into panic mode.
It's a 7-game series, and I don't think you could, losing Game 1 tonight isn't going to lose you the series, but some of the decisions you make in Game 1 tonight could cost you Game 2, Game 3, and beyond with handcuffing your pitching in the with that. So
with the Sunday day off, you would think that you can sort of, and I want to say sort of, throw everything at Games 1 and 2, give you a day, and then reset for New York. So it could be all hands on deck, both Games 1 and 2.
Yeah. Do you expect Tommy Edman to be batting cleanup again tonight for the Dodgers?
Let's see, against Garrett Cole. No, I don't think so.
Okay. The media darling right now, Tommy Edman, getting being the cleanup hitter, was the talk of that Game 6 in between Dodgers Mets, and rightfully so after the game that he had. And I think it's given a lot of Cardinal fans, a lot of B-fibs that love to hate, has given them a lot of extra fuel on the fire these last couple days of the series. We mentioned at the beginning Shohei and Aaron Judge being those top 2 guys, kind of being the faces of baseball right now. A lot of discussion this entire series is going to revolve around Juan Soto and his upcoming free agency turning. I believe he turns 26 here in the next couple days, if not today. I know he had a birthday coming up. No, today. He turns 26 today. So happy birthday to Juan Soto. A lot of it's going to be made about how much more he can earn himself in this World Series. Do you think he has capped out what he is going to make in free agency, or do you think there's something he can do in these next week of games that could make him even more as he enters free agency?
I guess if he had a monster series, it certainly wouldn't hurt anything.
Right.
If you were an executive, is there anything more you need to learn about the guy?
No, not really.
So I think that goes to your question. I guess he could make suitors salivate a little more. But would it hit the bottom line? I kind of doubt it. I guess the one thing it could help if you get more people finally going, oh my gosh, we got to get in on this guy. And maybe elevate things, getting teams to even be more competitive in their bids. But probably marginally.
Rammer, as I look through, I am scrolling through ratings for World Series of the past. You have Los Angeles, you have New York, you have the 2 biggest media markets, we have the biggest stars. I am looking through some of the past ratings, and for the most part, big-time series, big-time teams seem to have capped out around 25 million or so. But in 2016, Game 7 between the Cubs and the Indians, that Game 7, we saw 40 million viewers tune in to that Game 7. Does any game in this New York Dodgers series, does tonight pass 40 million given the star factor? And that's not even, I mean, that whole thing was, are the Cubs going to win the World Series? There was no true star power in that game. The top players in baseball were not in that series. Do you think tonight has a chance of topping, say, 30 million viewers?
Yeah, I'd say games 1, 4, and 5. Games 1, 4, 5, 7 probably give you your best chances to set some records or achieve real high television volume.
The last time, Rammer, that Game 1 of a World Series reached 25 million viewers, 2004, Red Sox and Cardinals.
Uh-huh.
That is the last time that Game 1 reached 25 million viewers. I think that gets surpassed tonight.
Yeah, it could. It certainly could. Like I say, I also look at what else is on. You know, you're gonna lose people to college football probably on Saturday. Monday Night Football, not as much, but would have an impact. But yeah, I'd say tonight, games 1, 7, and perhaps games 4 and 5.
The last time, Rammer, that the Dodgers and the Yankees played each other, Game 1 had 41 million viewers back in 1981.
Yeah, different world.
It is, yeah.
You know, with so much access now, yeah, it'll be interesting to see on that, and maybe more access to more channels, more streams. Does it maybe hurt? I don't know.
I don't know how they add that stuff up.
Wait and see. Yeah,
I don't know how they track all that stuff or do that, but we will see what those numbers look like coming in. Rammer, as you mentioned, Game 1 and Game 2 tonight and tomorrow, off day on Sunday before they head across country to New York for Game 3, and that's when we will try to get back to you to recap what we have going on. Yes.
Yeah, you skipped over the lineup stuff, which surprised me a little bit.
Sorry, well, I mean, they're not out yet, so I didn't know if you wanted to toy around with that. Yeah.
Here's some things to think about. You asked me if Edman will hit cleanup. I don't think so against the right-hander Cole tonight, but he could end up anywhere between 5 and 9. I don't think he would hit 9. He's been too hot. But I think Teoscar Hernandez will hit 4th. Then who do you want to hit 5th? That'll be really interesting. Lux has been a little bit banged up. Does Will Smith go climb back up the lineup a little bit? So I think Tommy probably goes 6th or 7th in the lineup. I think the guy that'll be real interesting, we touched on it a little bit earlier, is where does Rizzo hit? They've been reluctant to hit him 4th because you don't know what you're getting, but he can still swing the bat. We saw that in the previous series. So would you hit him in front of Stanton? But Stanton's been so hot. Do you move him to 5th just to get a lefty in there? Managers love that right, left thing so much, and I get it. I like it too, but I think that'll be the question. Who's 4th and 5th between Stanton and Rizzo? And I think that's a real key part of the lineup to watch tonight.
Yeah. You mentioned I would go Muncy 5th. The way he's been getting on base, I'd go him 5th, and then
Muncy'd be great.
Yeah, Edman after that. The way he's been hitting, you get guys on base in front of Edman and see if that hot bat keeps going with that. And then on the other side too, yeah, you're talking about moving Chisholm down even further in the lineup.
He's been struggling a little bit.
He has been, yeah, but that's a guy that was hitting cleanup at one point for the Yankees. So you're moving him down too. But yeah, Stanton, I think you need to play the hot hand with him. I think he needs to be batting 4th with that.
And so then if you go Rizzo 5, do you want those 2 left-handed hitters back to back? I don't know. Those are the things that managers stay up late at night for, even though in the end, Tommy Edman hitting cleanup and goes bonk. I mean, it's just baseball. And so give your best guys / hottest guys the most opportunities. I think that's the way you look at it.
Recording this right around 11 a.m. on Friday, so no lineups out yet for the game tonight that starts a little after 7 o'clock Central Time.
Yep.
Rammer, we'll be back again on Monday with another edition of Daily Cards Live, World Series edition, brought to you by Munganast St. Louis Acura and also Rammer Royal Banks.
Royal Banks of Missouri. Don't forget, coming up in a few weeks, the economic forecast breakfast that Royal Banks supports every single year. Really great information. Go to royalbanksofmo.com to get more info and attend at the factory in Chesterfield Valley. We'd love to see everybody there. Really a very, very informative financial event. Royal Banks of Missouri, where better service means better banking. Member FDIC, and equal opportunity lender.
As I mentioned, Juan Soto turns 26 today. Home runs on birthdays in the playoffs. Bet on them. Just throwing that out there for folks tonight. I'm going to do it. Suggest you do it as well. It's always a smart one to throw a couple bucks on. He is Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. We will talk to you next week right here on Daily Cards Live.
Munganast St. Louis Acura has the vehicle you want, like the all-new 2025 MDX. Get the new 2024 RDX with financing as low as 3.9% or lease with no down payment and just $459 a month. Lease the electrified 2024 Acura ZDX for just $589 per month with zero down. We also have over 100 Acura certified pre-owned vehicles in stock. Munganast St. Louis Acura, better than ever for you.